Recruiter here, the headless headhunter, getting you ahead of your job search by reviewing your resumes. The resume we have up first is a software engineer intern. I get a lot of those. I do more than software engineers, I want to be clear. It's just IT is really bad right now, so like 50% of the people that submit it to me are in IT. This person, their ratio of applications to interviews, which is how you can tell how good your resume is garbage. They have not gotten any interviews or recruiters reaching out. They feel like they're doing something fundamentally wrong. So, first thing, every single time, this is the equivalent of turning your computer off and on, double check your phone number and your email. Make sure your voicemail is not full. The amount of times that I could not move forward with the candidate because their email bounced, their phone number went to voicemail, and the voicemail was full is much more than you would think. So, what we're going to be looking for in a software engineer internship, assuming it's not the contact information that is the problem, is your degree. You know, it's pretty important for an internship. Basic knowledge of the tech stack. So, like language, library, SQL, cloud, ability to work well with others and takes direction and criticism. That is what we're going to be looking for. It's very basic, very simple. And I was not able to find what I needed in the 20-second meter eat I did of this, which is a short. So, part of the problem is your formatting. This is too long. This should be one line. You should be able to fit this into one line. You should be able to fit this into one line. And again, you can use the abbreviation for polytext. So I guess, would it be whatever the abbreviation for this is? And you've gotten a master's and a bachelor's. So yes, again, you want to shrink this down into one line, shrink this into one line. Also, it should not be bolded, and your formatting is off. It should be Arial 10.5. This can be deleted. No one needs to know the relevant coursework. Maybe if you're doing like a PhD level intern, they might, but this can be safely deleted. They don't really know it. So now down to here. This is where I believe the actual problem is first off, formatting. Again, nothing here should be bolded. Stop bolding everything. It makes it so much harder to read. I swear to you, stop bolding all of this. I understand it's 3, but when this is bolded and this is bolded and you are resume number 79 in the last 10 minutes, my eyes will glaze over what I actually need to see. Reviewing resumes in volume is mentally tiring. It is a very, very inherently uninteresting process, and you have to maintain focus doing it for like 3 hours straight. So the easier it is on our eyes, the easier it is on our mind, the easier it is for us to find what we need. So use my formatting. I swear to you it is good. The link is in the description below, and it's on my website. Your resume should look like this. This I can read way easier. This will stop me from getting tired and accidentally miss something. Now, on to the actual bullet points, which are also the problem. So, eliminated bug impact 20,000 quotes confirming incident. What is this? Again, I'm not trying to be mean, but this is not what I'd be looking for. My eyes would glaze over. I'm not looking for somebody that is eliminating 20,000 bugs quotes or impacting whatever this is confirmed through incident logs. Or by diagnosing, I'm Angular UI. I might be looking for Angular and UI, but I don't know what GuideWire is. I am looking for Java, and you would have a full stack could be used, and Agile is nice. But the problem is this is garbage. They may just skip over it. They're going to read this, say, okay, eliminated 20. Okay, there's nothing here I need. Resolved 15 million by QA bugs. Okay, I'm not looking for that. Next one, improved quote completion rate by 10%. Resilience, leveraging Chrome. Nope, not looking for that. So your problem is you are misassuming what we actually want. Remember, a resume is a basic and minimum qualification document. That is all it is. That is what we use it as. It is not a way to show how good you are. The interview, yes, you show how good you are in the interview, but not through the resume. You can't. They're terrible at it. It's just the nature of them. So instead of eliminating bugs impacting 20,000 quotes, what you do want to say is, used Java and then whatever the full stack is, so I'm assuming HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, to fix bugs in our agile team sprints with our Angular UI, right? Or using our Angular UI. That's what I want. Again, I am not looking for the most in-depth crazy thing for an intern. I'm looking for the basics, the very, very basics. That is what I want to see. Maybe I want to see a teeny bit of AI, sure, but most of it is going to be the primary language, in this case Java. And the fact that you named it Guidewire Java, they may actually not realize that's the same type of Java. And you didn't really tell what the full stack was. So this is the stuff I'm actually looking for. Like, and you need to have it first. I need to know that stuff. I also need to know how you can work as a team. But I don't see that and take direction and criticism. And what I imagine is happening is this got you this, and this got you this, because this is a phenomenal sentence. This is how I want you to write it. Built a cross-platform food tracking app. I know what it is. It's a food tracking app using React, Native Expo, TypeScript, which let users log meals in via MongoDB and a custom REST API. This is a phenomenal sentence. The problem is you now have actual more experience, and you're assuming what we actually want is eliminating bugs and improved quota completions. But no, how you wrote this is what got you a position. And then look at this. Develop Python, good. Automated scripts using pandas, could be a qualification. OpenPixel XL, probably not. Jupyter, also probably not. The rest of this, no. But you started off with Python and pandas, and that's what we need. Same here. Deployed a full stack application using React, good. Node.js, good. MongoDB, perfect. To streamline event coordination and volunteer workflows. You could have stopped it here. This is nonsense. Again, I'm sure it means actually something, but they're not going to know it. This is quality. And that's your problem, is you started with the nonsense, and then, you know, you missed what we actually wanted. So if you literally just rewrote the rest of your resume like this bullet point, or this bullet point, or this bullet point down here, you would get more internships. Also, you do need to apply early. The faster you apply, the better your chances. So your problem is you thought what we were looking for is the 20,000 and the 15 million, and we're not looking to see how you're impressive. We are looking to see that you've developed Python automation scripts. That's it. Keep it basic. The fancier you get with the resume, the more likely you're going to fail. And I wish that wasn't the case. I wish you could put all of your accomplishments on your resume and it shows how amazing you are, and we would see it and be like, move you forward, but it's not the case. Again, we have 15 to 20 seconds to find this. There were 70 resumes before you. There are 100 after you for different roles. And it's probable that even if they are a specialized tech recruiter, they may not know that X means Y. So you need to write them like this. And this is the problem, is you had success and then you ruined it with this. So write them like this, okay? This is by far, I think, your best bullet point in the entire resume. No one is going to get that far down, though. So just write the rest of it like this, because that was your problem, is you got more experience and you tried to show how good you are, and it failed because we can't tell how good you are. Resumes are not made to decide how good you are. If you try to look for how quality a candidate is based on the resume, you will fail, both on the hiring side and the candidate side. You just can't really do it. They are built to find the minimum qualifications. That is all they're for. So that is all I can do for this resume. Before I go to the next resume, which I don't think is tech, please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out. Leave a comment if you have any questions. It takes me a couple of days to answer them, but I will. And you can always join my live stream where I answer more questions than I can in this YouTube video on twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST until whenever work pulls me away. So sometimes it's 2 hours, sometimes it's 4 hours. I stay as long as I can, but work is what actually pays the bills, so let me do this. So let's go to the next resume. A Python developer, which I spelled wrong, good job, Lee, in India. So with the full disclosure that I'm a US-based recruiter, and these might not be 100% accurate, what we're looking for is still close to what we would look for in the US, which is Python. NumPy, Pandas, Fast APIs. MongoDB was everywhere for some reason, and I'm not sure if that was just the sample size I found, but it was in a lot of places. AI, ML, or LLM, anything involving that basically is pretty hot right now. SQL, cloud, again, you're going to have to tell what type of cloud, and if it's like AWS, it's EC2, which I don't actually know the equivalent for what that is for Azure or GCP, but I do know there is one. CI/CD, Git, REST APIs, Kubernetes, Docker, Django, and Agile. Bonus for full stack. This is a second iteration of this resume, which is not in my format, so boo. All right, let's actually review it. So, 20 seconds. And away we go. All right, bachelor's good. AI Python. All right, good. I like how you said Python. Fast APIs, good. APIs twice. Architecture, natural language, SQL, LangChain. Ooh, would they ask for LangChain? Maybe. Engineered an LLM model. Okay. RESTful APIs, Docker, object-oriented programming, which I did see, but I forgot to write down. I am going to say this is... Man, this is a tough one. Maybe this is on the fence of a meet or a yeet. And I will tell you why. So first off, Python, great, we have it. Fast API, good. Then we go here. So SQL, good. LangChain, typically the ones I was seeing didn't say the exact other ones like this. They said like LLM or whatever, or AI. So it's possible they don't know this is AI. So I can't actually count that as as AI, which I know is upsetting. But then you also, again, already have SQL. So far we've only found 3. Then we go to LLM, which is perfect. This is how you want to write it. So this is 4 vulnerabilities. And then AI, again, that's still 4. AI counts for the same. RESTful APIs is 5. Docker is 6. And then maybe operational programming is 6 or 7. It is on the fence if I would move forward or not with this, because I am missing Django, I am missing Agile, I am missing CI/CD. Sorry, my dog just coughed in the microphone. I did see Git, which is good. So I would actually say this is probably a barely meet, but it would be a meet. So this is probably like a 1 in 50. How you would fix it is, first off, what you want to do is change your formatting. You know what the formatting is. You need to change it. So change it to this. And then second is, we already mentioned API here. So this is doubled up of the same thing in the same sentence, which isn't that great. And because you've only been here for 6 months, I think we can condense some of these bullet points. So what we want you to do is say build backend solutions in Python, and then put a comma and say fast Python, Docker, fast APIs, and SQL, right? And that way you'd have a lot of this, or actually in an AI environment or something. And then you can go down here. So I think this is solid. I just think there's a little extraneous information, and as long as you apply early enough, I think you could still get a position. Again, I just think you can condense these a little bit, because this kind of only says 2 things, and again, they may not know that LangChain is AI, so what you would want to do is like AI and then put LangChain, which I think LangChain is AI, right? I'm not like crazy about that. People can yell at me if that is incorrect or not. And then move this closer up, because this is something we want to see and we need a little bit more. So again, I think you just need to condense it. I think you can condense these into probably about 4 bullet points. And yes, those are only 4, but you've only been there for about, I don't know, it's almost a year. That's pretty solid. So like 9-10 months. And if you do that, it'll be faster and they can see what they need to. And then I would like you to add Agile if you can find it. And then because you may have a sentence free, if you've done any full stack, put it at the very bottom of one of these. If not, no worries. Again, it is a bonus. So we're missing Agile, we're missing Django, we're missing, again, you may not need Kubernetes, that's fine. And we are missing MongoDB, which I saw everywhere for some reason. So, but overall, I do think this will pass. I do think this would pass as long as you apply early enough. And is there anything here at the bottom that I am missing? Oh yeah, here's what you want to do. Okay, so now that I see all this stuff down here, which again, I would not get to in the real actual review of this, is you want to put a sentence for AI, and I would say architected a, LLM or whatever, that engineered a large language model, LLM, in, and then you can put skibbity learn, LangChain, and the other stuff, so they know that that is AI, and they know that you've done that stuff. So again, pretty solid. I think this is like a B- to a B resume. I think this will get it, assuming my knowledge of the US is transferable to India. So this person is in my chat right now, so I'm going to help them more. But for everybody else, we're going to the next resume. This is a resume of a medical information specialist. I have never recruited for this, but the qualifications are actually not that much after the first one. The first one is critically important, and the first one is you need a RN, a RPH, a PharmD license. So basically there is a set amount of nursing qualifications and license you need, or pharmacy license. Those are a pretty big requirement. Everything else is, can you use a computer? I'm serious, just can you use a computer? So basic computer skills. I'm not talking, I'm saying, can you use a keyboard and mouse? That is literally it. That was in the job descriptions. Phone skills. Again, can you talk to somebody on the phone? And then previous healthcare or pharmaceutical experience. And Microsoft Office software. Again, that is in almost every single job besides tech. You need to have it. So that includes Excel, Word, PowerPoint. SharePoint was nice. Adobe was also nice. And Viva. I saw Viva a couple of times. I don't know what that is, but they wanted it. CRM and multitask. But I will be perfectly honest with you. If you have the very top row and you have probably 2 of these, phone skills and basic computer skills, you're probably going to get an interview. So this person is, we don't know anything else besides they have a 1 in 25 ratio, and I would believe that. The big qualification gap for this is the license. Everything else can be gravy. So I am searching in the US. I don't know if this person is in the US or in the Philippines because of where the education is. So I'm assuming this is US based, they're here, and that's because I don't speak Tagalog, so I can't really search in the Philippines. Although I imagine some of them are still in English. But all right. So first off, I know you have a 1 in 25. I know everybody would absolutely love to have that ratio, but we could make this even better. We could probably make it a 1 in 4. So first off, you're formatting it as an abomination on resumes. Do not do any of this. So please just make it like this. You're going to put your education inserts here. In this case, we need your master's or bachelor's. In fact, keep your bachelor's and master's in. And wow, there's a lot here. But we do need your license. So your license should actually go first, and then your other educations. Normally, I would say only keep it to 3, but in your case, you can go to 4 or 5. That's fine with this type of industry. They would like to see it. So again, you put all of this stuff here, 1 line each, and you start with the license so they know that you're licensed, because that is the biggest part they care about. Then, and again, your contact information is here. Then we go down to the actual experience, which should be written chronological or reverse chronological. So we start with this. Cardiovascular isolation, screens for any therapeutic drug interaction. This is solid, but it's too much. So remember, if we're looking for a medical information specialist, you are incredibly intelligent. Obviously, you're incredibly intelligent. You have 4 bachelors and 12 masters. You know your stuff. I'm not denying that. But when you look at the job descriptions for medical information specialists in the US, not medical record specialists, those are different jobs. I specifically looked for medical information. Records specialists have different qualifications than information specialists. So when you're looking at it, this is really all they're asking for. So they are asking for previous pharmaceutical and healthcare experience, which you do have, but they really are just caring about can you talk on the phone? Can you use Excel and Word? Can you send an email without having somebody help you? And I don't see that. I think they may still move forward because, again, the hardest part to find for this type of position is the license itself. I've done nursing, recruiting, and equivalency before. So, okay, yeah, this should be up top. Oh, pharmacovigilance. Never heard that until I started doing this stuff. So yeah, we need to fix the formatting. And we also, if you are looking for medical information specialists, we need to focus on some of the more basic stuff. So is it good to have this? Yeah, you can have one or two of these things. That's fine. But I need to know that you can use a computer. And I'm not joking when I say that Microsoft Office Suites should be in almost every single resume except for software engineers. It's in seriously almost every single job description, and you need to put it in. I am aware that you can do all of this, and you are way smarter than me, but you need to put Excel in. So remember, the person reading your resume is not 5 degrees. In fact, the person reading your resume may only have a high school diploma. Usually it's bachelor's, but they may only have a high school diploma. So you need to lower what you're writing here and just have a couple of things of medicine. That's good, but we need to know that you can talk on the phone and you have basic computer skills. That's absolutely critical for the job, and it is in almost every single job description. Absolutely in almost every single job description. In addition, I'm having trouble finding where your licenses are. Okay, is it right down here? Yeah, so again, this needs to be all the way up at the top. So fix your formatting. Remember, keep it basic and boring. And let me know if you're actually looking for medical records specialist, because those qualifications are way different than information. But this is all I can do for this resume. And I'm sure that by the time you see this resume review, you probably have already gotten a job. But it'll make it so instead of like a 1 in 20, you get, actually instead of a 1 in 10, you will probably get a 1 in 2 or 1 in 3. Because that is how hot the market is, at least in the US. And let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a IT help desk or IT support or IT. They've got like 80 different names, but basically you are the person who is coaching people through technical problems internally or externally at a business. So if you look at all of this, this is insane. The good thing is you don't need all of this. Remember, we only need about 75%. And in particular for this type of role for IT support desk, you kind of only need one from each column, and a company is only going to be really usually asking for one for each column. So you want to basically the type of environment. So is it Mac OS, Linux, Android, Windows, and then if Windows, what kind it is, education, customer service. Those are actually going to be in everything. So the second line is the one that is going to be everywhere, which you do need. Is education we need to see, customer service needs to be everywhere. Troubleshooting and problem solving you absolutely need. I'm going to ignore the IP for now. So, but everything else in this sentence you need. This is needed. Then networking. We just want to see that you've done networking. So DNS, DHCP, TCP, IP, VPN. Can you multitask and meet deadlines? The industry, and again, this is where it's going to differ. Is it LAN WAN? Is it a customer relationship management software? Is it Azure? We don't know, and well, actually, they would know, but we will need to see it in your resume. And again, they're probably only going to want one of those from you. Jira, Office and Microsoft 365. Oh my gosh, you need this. This was in like everyone. And same with Active Directory. And a bonus is a CompTIA or whatever the other stuff is. So this person's ratio is unknown, and they wrote me nothing. That is not good. Please write me more information. The more information you give me, the better your chances I can help you. So we don't know if this is getting anything. I'm assuming because it's help desk and you have a little bit of experience, it's probably not terrible, but let's see if I can find what we need in 20 seconds. So it might have a little more than 20 seconds for an IT help desk, but we're still going to do it. All right. Aspiring. Never say aspiring. Technical skills. None of this matters. Certs actually is what we're looking for. Education. Good. Needed. You don't need to tell me when you started, though. Build a Windows server. Okay. Good. VM. No. But Active Directory. I'm going to give this a little bit longer. Profile service. That's actually pretty solid. Multiple enterprise network services. I don't care about this. Organized weeks in tech support. Okay. So I don't think this is a terrible resume. I don't think this is a great resume, but I did find a couple of stuff I needed. So first off, your formatting is garbage. This needs to be deleted. Nothing here I can use. I'm sorry. I understand that there is TCP, and I'm looking for that down here. I understand there is Microsoft Active Directory. I cannot use it if it's in a skill section. It is worthless. Delete it, put it in here. Then your certs, format, and again, summaries you don't need. Then you really want to fix this formatting to make it look like this. Do not bold this. All right, you do not bold this. Do not bold this. And don't tell me when you started. I just need to know that you graduated. I don't need to know when you started. And I don't know. What? Wait, what? Okay, you have an IT services and a bachelor's and a multi-arts. I don't think you need the art. I'm actually a little confused why you have all of these things. Yeah, so you can delete the art one. I don't know about this one if you want to delete it or not, but this is good to have the top one. So then we get down to the actual experience. This is pretty solid. Built a virtual Windows Server environment using VM Workware with Active Directory, DHCP, DNS, group policy, and file service. That's okay. The problem is the rest of it isn't. Is join multiple Windows client machines, and that's all I got. So you need to add a better sentence for that, or just leave it here. And again, stop bolding this and stop making everything in blue. It hurts my eyes. I am deep in work, and I spend like 3 hours a day on resumes that is not this one. All right, that's not related to this channel, just digging through them. And when you're digging through that many resumes, if you don't use this format, it hurts my eyes. It makes it so I can miss stuff. You don't want that to happen. Use this format. Stop bolding everything. The bolding hurts. All right, and then here we get a little bit of problem is I need more details here. Is organize weekly tech support sessions. Good, but I need to know kind of why you did it and what the tech was. This one is solid. This one I'd like a little more details, like what did you know, what kind of tech issues? And part of my problem is I just don't have enough. Right? Like you list it here, you don't list it here, and that's where it's a problem. So I would say this maybe could get 1 in 70. I don't know. Again, the IT market is pretty good for specifically help desks. So maybe this is a 1 in 50, but you should, with this amount of experience, be getting like 1 in 30, 1 in 20. So yeah, and I don't know how much you actually get because you didn't tell me. So there's not much else I can do. Just make it easier to read and add a little bit more of the qualifications and tell me how you did it. I don't think it's going to take you longer than 20 to 30 minutes to fix this, and then you can mass apply. So that's all I can do for this one. Let's go to the next resume. This is a senior front-end developer. They stated a lot, which is good. I very much want you to give me more information than less. So they've been getting interviews. Good. Then that means the resume is probably fine. The point of the resume is to get an interview. That is it. But you often get dropped after a few rounds or end up being ghosted. That stinks, but that is not the fault of the resume unless you are overhyping what you can do, which probably not. Until recently, I didn't include my latest position because it was not a formal. You've been unemployed. Recruiter recommended that I add it so others can understand what I'm currently working on without needing extra explanation. Maybe that's why they're dropping you, is you're saying that in the interview, and it's lowering the amount of experience. This is hard to tell without knowing exactly. Let's see. I'm still figuring out the best way to represent this experience, but I'm actively looking for a new opportunity and would truly appreciate any advice or leads. Recently moved to the U.S. and hold a green card. I've noticed that some recruiters seem hesitant because they don't have much U.S. work experience, even though I am comfortable with the tech stack. So, 2 things. One, you stated front-end developer. You wrote stuff for full stack. So this is the qualifications I would want for front-end. And for the full stack, what I would want, and let me pull it up, is different. I understand that front end is part of full stack, and full stack is both front and back end, but they have different qualifications. So this is for full stack. So maybe you're actually a full stack and not a front end, and that is part of the problem. So I guess I'll kind of have to judge it with a full stack lens, but I don't fully know. The other thing is you do want to say that if you're a green card holder, put it up here, because that means you can work for everybody. And if they see a bunch of this stuff outside the US, they may think that if you don't put that, you're lying, but you don't want them to. I don't, but again, there's people that are not scrupulous. So you should put your, status over there if you are a green card or US citizen. So, it might not be a resume issue. That's kind of the thing, is this may not be a resume issue. If your resume is getting you interviews, that's good. But what could have been, as you said, this was outside the US, is once they hear you talking about it, they realize that, oh, this is not a full-time job. But if you said you've been helping somebody with their tech needs, and the answer to that is, did you get paid? If you got paid for it, that is fair. That's still there. And are you still doing it? That's also another question that is pretty important. So assuming you were paid and assuming you were still doing it, that's good. The other problem is they say led development of a cross-platform application. Based on what you said, it sounds like you might have been the only engineer. By starting with led the development, they may assume that you worked in a team. That you were one of 8 people and you were leading it. Now, maybe that was the case. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Based on what you said in your notes, I don't think it's the case. So what they could be is they assume that you are leading 8 people, and then you get into the interview and you tell them and they're like, okay, then no, never mind. That's not what we're actually looking for. The other thing is, if you're applying for remote, you're going to get declined and ghosted more. The amount of remote roles are very slim. There's no other nice way to put it. You are going to get rejected more for remote roles than you will on site. On site, you may be facing against 4 to 5 other candidates. Remote, you are facing the entirety of the United States and a bunch of people that are more senior that are trying to take a pay cut to work remote. So you are going to need volume. So again, I don't know how many applications you've sent, but if it's getting interviews, it's working, which I can see. I see this stuff. It also reads, again, like a full stack dev. So part of your problem here is this is fully like a full stack. I'm seeing most of what I need besides cloud, which is a pretty big thing to have. But I don't see what I'd be looking for as a front end. So if you are looking for a front end, I just changed it. Let's see if I can't find it. Okay, so JavaScript is all the way at the bottom. If I'm looking for a front end pure, I wouldn't move forward with you because it's all the way down here. I would need JavaScript up at the front. Where's HTML? All the way down there. No one's getting to that. Same with CSS was right next to it. Nobody's getting to that. SQL, let's see. Nope, all the way down here on page 2. Let's see. Jira. Was Jira right? Yeah, Jira was right. I didn't see it. Git. Where's Git? Git. There we go. That's fine. That's in the right place. View. No view. Next. There it is all the way at that job. No one's going to scroll that far down. SEO. Nope, nothing. So you don't... If I was looking for a front-end developer, a pure front-end role, I would not move this resume forward because it does not have enough experience. If I was looking for a full-stack role, I would move you forward because I think you do have enough experience for a full-stack. You don't have cloud, which is a pretty big deal, but sometimes you can get away with not having it. So your first thing is you need to clarify in your resume, because if you are truly a front-end engineer, this reads like a full stack. I barely see the front. I see more of the back end. Not back end. I see more of full stack than I do a front end. So I'm not sure exactly why you're getting rejected because I don't know enough information. But if it is purely remote, that's why. If you're applying for full stack roles and then you talk to them in the thing and you actually have more experience as front end, that's also why. Or if you're going for front end, because I barely see the front end. So you need to redo this a little bit. Again, formatting's fine, but I need to know the rest of it. So that's all I can do for this one, and it's going to be for this episode. So thank you all for tuning in. If you need more help, you can join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday for as long as I can do it, starting at 11 a.m. PST until recruiting pulls me away. Sometimes it's 2 hours, sometimes it's 4 or 5. And thank you all for watching and subscribing and clicking that bell and letting comments and sharing it. I appreciate it. And I will see you in the next video to help you get ahead of your job search.